Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Good morning, everyone. It's good to meet you again online. Today, we're going to continue to study this book, The Buddha Speaks. We are still in the first part. This part introduces awakening. We already spent some time to study the contents, and I believe today this will be the last talk about this part, awakening. Today, the part of the contents that I'm going to read is from Prajnaparamita Sutra, and it's on page 15. In this paragraph of the sutra, basically it means the perfect wisdom of enlightenment cannot be using thoughts or words to imagine or to describe, but based on everyone's experience, you are going to understand it. Okay, so that is a very important teaching from Buddhism. A lot of real experience. You know that, but it's out of language. You cannot describe it by using any words. Even we cannot use ordinary thinking to imagine. But it doesn't mean this does not exist. Every one of us, if we continue on the practice, we are able to experience this. Okay, you are going to understand this, yeah, for sure. So in China, in Zen school, sometimes disciples will ask the master, how is the enlightenment feels? Yeah. And when we achieve enlightenment, what is it? We have a very, very simple and a famous way to explain. The master answered the question in this way. This is just like when you drink a glass of water, you are going to know how warm is it, how hot, how cold is it. 如人饮水，冷暖自知. As long as you have the actual experience to drink this glass of water, you are going to know the taste. You are going to know how warm is it, how cold is it. So even something that is simple like this, yeah, we cannot use words to describe it. And before we read this paragraph, I wanted to introduce another Zen story to you. In Tang Dynasty, there was a very famous master, Venerable Guling. When he was young, he went to a monastery and followed a teacher. Okay, and his Dharma teacher likes to study sutras. So every day he's going to read a lot of sutras and study sutras. But somehow his teacher noticed that Venerable Guling is a very unusual disciple, very special. So one day he talked to Guling. He said, Guling, I feel you should go to Master Rock, 石头禅师, okay, Venerable Rock, and you go to his place and learn something from him, okay, instead of follow me over here. So Venerable Gulin went to Venerable Rock monastery and stayed there for some time, for many years, yeah, until he reached certain level of enlightenment. Yeah. Then he decided to go back to his own teacher's place. Okay. And he still wants to serve his original teacher. And so when he arrived the original monastery, his teacher asked him, Gulin, what did you gain from Venerable Rock? Gulin said, there's nothing to gain. There's really nothing to gain. So the answer was simple. Then his teacher thought, okay, maybe he's still the same. So let him, stay at the temple like usual. One day, the teacher was in the study room and reading sutras, study sutras. Suddenly, there was a fly in the room, couldn't get out. The fly tries to get out, but somehow there's no opening area. So Venerable Gulin used his finger to make a hole through the paper on the window. That means a fly, you go this way, okay? But the fly still, flying in the room, hitting the frame of the window, couldn't see the hole that is, for him to get out. So Venerable Gulin say a few sentences. We say like a Gita, like a poem. He said, 空门如不去. There's a door of emptiness. Why don't you go there? There is a door of emptiness. Why don't you go there? Why are you still hitting the frame of the window? It's too ignorant. Okay. If you continue to drill yourself into those old papers, when are you going to get out? Free yourself. 空门如不去，头窗也太迟。千年转顾子，何日出头时? If you know Chinese, please remember this poem. And his teacher was a little shocked. My disciple saying something that is very interesting. Yeah. But he still not paid too much attention on those words. One day, Venerable Gulin helped this elder teacher to wash the body. And he was washing his back. And suddenly, Venerable Gulin say another few words behind his teacher. He said, this grand hall is very elegant. Somehow there's no Buddha in it. There's no Buddha in this hall. Suddenly, his teacher turned his head to him. What did you say? And Venerable Gulin said that even though there's no Buddha, but it's still shining brightly. 还会放光. Okay. Then his teacher asked him, Gulin, did you learn something from Venerable Rock? Tell me the truth. Okay. He said, yes, teacher, I did learn something from Venerable Rock. Why didn't you say this to me? Let me dress up and beat the drum, ring the bell, call everyone to the Dharma hall. You give us a Dharma talk. His teacher was so humble, sitting over there, listen to his disciple who achieved a certain level of enlightenment. So in Zen school, a lot of teachers, they always emphasize in this concept. Don't depend on words, books, okay? You don't want it to depend on those. Directly go to your mind, understand your thoughts, okay? In this way, you can gain wisdom. You can achieve enlightenment. So all words, all sutras, just like the finger that is pointing to the moon, we wanted to see the moon, not the finger. Okay. Now let me read the sutra. Let me see what kind of finger in it. Okay. So this is from Prajnaparamita Sutra. Subhuti asked, is perfect wisdom beyond thinking? Is it unimaginable and totally unique, but nevertheless reaching the unreachable and attaining the unattainable? The Buddha replied, yes, Subhuti, it is exactly so. And why is perfect wisdom beyond thinking? It is because all its points of reference cannot be thought about, but can be apprehended. One is the disappearance of the self-conscious person into pure presence. Another is the simple awakening to reality. Another is the knowing of the essenceless essence of all things in the world. And another is luminous knowledge that knows without knower. None of these points can sustain ordinary thoughts because they are not objects or subjects. They cannot be imagined or touched or approached in any way by any ordinary mode of consciousness. Therefore, they are beyond thinking. So it's very important. Sometimes we need to get out of the way we are thinking in the ordinary way. Yeah. We think there's a real north exists, but actually, if we think deeply, we cannot find a place that can be called north or south. It's always, conditional. It's always, concepts in minds only. In the reality, there's no real north, real south. There's no real big, real small. Yeah, please think on a lot of concepts. Okay, even we say this is a watch, but there's no real watch exist. It's difficult. Yeah, it's difficult because we attach to certain thinking. We feel that is right. Okay, that's correct. So through this reading, I think based on the teaching of a Buddha, okay, what is the perfect understanding? What is the perfect wisdom? Yeah, according to the paragraph that we read, one, no attachment on self. Okay, and you know the reality. You know the facts, the truth, directly, not through any words. You see the essenceless essence. That means the emptiness of Sunyata. Okay. Also, you know everything clearly, but without having a knower. Okay. So finally, I wanted to use another story that to remind us sometimes we wanted to really keep a lot of understanding inside us, contemplate on those teachings, and use it in daily life. Not always depend on papers, words. Okay, today YouTube's or a lot of outside informations. Long time ago in Japan, there was a very famous master. They call him Ishu. Okay, Master Ishu or Venerable Ishu. He's a very skilled teacher, even when he was young. Okay. One day he was still a student at the temple, and one day one of his friend, a monk, told him, "Ishu, today we need to dry all the sutras outdoor because the sun is shining. We need to dry those sutras, triple pitaka, and get rid of the moisture." Okay. So everybody was moving those sutras to outdoor and opened it, let it dry. But after some time, a lot of monks, they discovered Ishu did not do anything but lying on the floor and open his chest, and he's lying under the sun. He didn't do anything. So friends asked him, "Ishu, you should get up, help us to move those sutras, outdoor, so we can finish the work." Ishu told them that, don't you know, I'm enjoying sutra too. Where's the sutra? In my stomach. Even in China, sometimes we will say, when you remember the sutra, when you remember something, you say it's in my mind or it's in my stomach. Okay, so let's learn something from this story. Let's keep everything in the mind so we can use anywhere, anytime that we wanted to use. Okay. So today, that's it. The perfect wisdom cannot be described by words or emerged by thoughts. But somehow, when you experience the enlightenment, when you have the perfect wisdom, you are going to understand it. You are going to, know what is it. Okay, and that is the subject of today's talk. Thank you so much. Namo Buddha, Namo Dhamma, Namo Sangha. Namo Buddha, Namo Dhamma, Namo Sangha. Namo Buddha, Namo Dhamma, Namo Sangha.